are going to get started. Please finish your warm-up frames. We'll be changing to scoring in just a moment. Welcome back to Concord, New Hampshire. We are at Boutwell's Bowling Center today, and it's an Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match. Who'da thunk it? My name is Steve Kelly. I'm going to be here to call the match and score the match for you for our folks at home watching. This Class E match today, Krista Ruggiero at Bryan Hebert. It's going to be a great one between these two competitors here in the capital of New Hampshire. We'll be getting here started in just a moment or two. The match format is 5 strings with 14 points on offer. It's 2 points per string and 4 for total pinfall. And if there are any ties, the points are evenly split. So our bowlers are just getting about ready to begin in just a couple of seconds. Candlepin bowling is based out of New England in Canada, and it's a little bit different from 10-pin. We don't clear the deadwood around the pins, and there are 3 balls per frame if no strikes or spares are thrown. The game is much more difficult than 10-pin, with more entropy and much smaller targets. There are no oil patterns. The ACST bowlers presently average anywhere between around 82 and around 128 at the extreme ends between classes A through E. Subtitles and live captions are available should you need or prefer them. And YouTube should have a nice transcript feature handy as well if you're watching this later on YouTube. My scoreboard here is unofficial, and the bowlers make the final calls on scores. If there's any conflicts, I'll go with what they have, unless they ask me for another set of eyes. I may sometimes verify scores if things seem out of sync, and I appreciate your patience if that happens. And I'll likely have chapters added to the YouTube version of this video, so you can jump to certain points in the games if that is your preference. I'll try to scope it out between 5 boxes at a time. To make that easy, because the bowlers will be rotating every 5 boxes, to give you an idea. So the bowlers are still, I give them the thumbs up, and I think they're still just preparing and getting things ready to go. And if the off chance you like this content, I encourage you to consider subscribing to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook to help us grow. And if you want to check out my content as well, there's also a 3-ball spare on YouTube and Facebook. All right, without further ado, we've got Krista Ruggiero down there, our away bowler, who will begin on lane 16 today. Krista Ruggiero comes to us with a season record of 75 and 121 with 14 matches played of the 18-match regular season. She has an away record of 37 and 47, a home record of 38 and 74, a season average of 94.2, an away average of 91.7, and a home average of 96.10. That is the preamble for Krista Ruggiero today. And here we go. It's been a little while since we've had Krista Ruggiero on the program, so welcome her back for sure. And that's a 2-drop to start out. Just get those first ball jitters, you know, figured out and all that kind of stuff. Everything fun with throwing the first ball in a competitive match. So Krista Ruggiero took out the 6 and the 10. And we're off to kick off another one, literally, with a piece of wood on the sleeper. 3 down, 7 up. This might be a good time to talk to you about Candlepin bowling again. It is 3 balls if no strikes or spares are thrown. This is the 3rd ball since no strike or spare was thrown. There are 4 planks standing down there on the plate, and that means it is a 6-box for Krista Ruggiero. We refer to frames as boxes in Candlepin bowling lingo. And I will interchange those 2 terms just to keep you on your toes. We're in the capital of New Hampshire today at Boutwell's Bowling Center. Great house to bowl at. And there's a 5-drop, a Kaleri right side for Krista Ruggiero. That's another historic name in the Candlepin world, named after Bob Kaleri of Lexington, Massachusetts. This is the right side version, the 13610-8 edition. Krista Ruggiero versus the Kaleri. She'll take the sleeper off the Kaleri, and then it turns into a right side 4-horseman leave, and this will be for a 10-box. One 13610 for Krista Ruggiero, who has a high single of 136 this season and a high series of 570. That's an 8 in the second for Krista for 14 through 2. Krista Ruggiero is currently 3rd place in her division, which is Class E North Division 3, and she's currently in the 9th place in the wild card seedings. This is her 15th match of the 18-match regular season. Playoffs are starting to appear on the horizon. Krista Ruggiero with a record of 75 and 121 for the season, so bit of a hill to climb, but she's got some matches left. She's got 3 down here on the first ball. Here's Krista Ruggiero for the spare shot. It's on the pocket. It is a spare. What a nice mark for Krista. As Justin Ruggiero says, just do that. And I agree. Because that kind of ball, if it was the first ball, I think that could have been a strike. Let's watch how this went again. Look at that. Right on the pocket on the 1-2. Beautiful. Krista's working on a mark. She fires, and it's looking good. Oh, just a little bit off the head pin. Maybe just a little bit faster on the velocity compared to the previous ball. That is a 6-fill. But it was still the right idea. Bit of a course correction. In the right kind of way. Krista's working on a spare. Krista will take 2 out and leave the 1 and the 7. This will be for a 10 box. Krista's currently at 30 through 3. Oh, just misses the head pin by a little bit. That's 8 in the 4th for 38. Krista Ruggiero this season has 7 strikes, 110 spares, and 126 10 boxes. Perfect box percentage of 30%. 6,595 pins in the season so far. In her past 5 matches, she's taken 46 pins. There's a 2-drop on the left side for Krista. That's a punch-out, sometimes known as the half Worcester. This is the left side variant where the 2 and the 8 were punched out. Krista Ruggiero versus the half Worcester. Oh, she chops the 1 and the 9. 2 go down in the first ball, 2 go down in the second ball. We got 6 up. That's the kind of shot you can sometimes get in Candlepin. Even if you hit the head pin, it can just kind of go through the middle row. And that will be a very interesting array of 5 pins for a 5 box for Krista Ruggiero. The results of her first 5 boxes is 43 halfway through the first game. The bowlers rotate every 5 boxes, as I mentioned before. So we'll have 4 quarters of each game, technically. So you'll see each bowler twice in each game. Bryan Hebert is coming up next to bowl his first 5 on lane 16 here on the ACST. Here's Bryan Hebert to the left of the head pin and gets a domino effect. Leaves the 1 and the 9. And there's some wood that could be guidingly helpful. Bryan just slightly to the west of the head pin, hits the wood, leaves the 9. The head pin does go, but not quite in the angle towards the 9 for the spare. Bryan. He gets the 10. Just barely nicks it from the wood. 10 through 1. So Bryan Hebert has a season record of 59 and 123. He's bowled 13 matches out of the 18-match regular season. This is match number 14 for Bryan Hebert. When he's on the road, he's not today. He's 31 and 81. At home at Boutwell's, this is a home match for him today. He's 28 and 42. And that is a 6-drop for Bryan Hebert. That's the 1, 2, 3, 10. Here comes Bryan Hebert, just a little bit to the east of the head pin this time. Takes the 2 and the 3, leaves the 1 and the 10. For the 10 box, and will we get another pretty one? Oh yeah, we do. 2 10s through 2 for 20. So we've had two very pretty outs for Bryan Hebert so far. 2 10s in a row. So he's still got a perfect game going technically. We're a little bit more lenient in Candlepin when we call a perfect game a perfect game. We call perfect boxes anything that's a 10, a spare, or a strike. And we jokingly call a perfect game a game where you throw nothing but 10 spares and strikes. That has been accomplished. What hasn't been accomplished in Candlepin is a perfect game of all strikes. That crown is still available for any bowler to claim at any point. Unlike 10-pin where it's thrown like every other game. Bryan Hebert will take an 8-box in the third for 28 through 3. Here comes Bryan Hebert to the right of the head pin, and he started on the 6-10 pocket, but he mixed down 6, so the pins are going down favorably for him. He's got the 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. The Lawrence Welk, and Bryan Hebert will leave the head pin on the spare shot. He has not found the head pin on the first ball yet today, but he's got a bunch of 10 boxes. He'll take a 9 here. 37 through 4. Krista Ruggiero is at 38 through 4 by comparison. Bryan's next ball, again on the 6-10 pocket. 2 down. The follow-up ball to the right of the head pin and leaves the 3 and the 8. A piece of wood facing us. And it will be an 8 for Bryan. And that's 5 boxes. That's 45 through 5 for Bryan Hebert. That is confirmed, and 43 through 5 for Krista Ruggiero is also confirmed. Krista Ruggiero has 1 mark out of these past 10 boxes across 2 bowlers. Bryan Hebert has 2 10s. We now enter the third quarter of the first game with Krista Ruggiero starting on the opposite lane on lane 15 for the next set of 5. Krista Ruggiero down there in the blue. In her past 5 matches, she's taken 22 points, averaging 4.4 points per match. You can take up to 14 points in a match. And it's often something like, say, an 8-6 split or a 10-4 split, sometimes a 14-0 split. A 14-0 isn't really a split, it's more of a wipe, but you know what I mean. Krista Ruggiero with a left side half Worcester. Next ball goes right where the first ball went, so it's still a 2 drop through 2 balls in the 6th frame. Krista Ruggiero in her past 5 matches, she's thrown 6 strikes, and she has 7 seasonal strikes, so she threw 6 in 1 match. She has 56 spares in the past 5 matches and 56 10s in the past 5 matches. And that's a 5-box for Krista Ruggiero to open up the second half for 48 through 6. Krista Ruggiero on average goes 18 for 50 on the head pin. And she on average gets 10.6 splits per match. We define a split as the head pin must be down. So a half Worcester is not a split. There's Krista Ruggiero on the pocket, and everything but the 5 pin goes down. That's a spare leave for Krista. 5-pin kingpin on lane 15 at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Krista for the spare. Goes just a little bit to the east of the 5-pin. This is the retry for the 10-box. It'll miss as well. That's a 9 for Krista Ruggiero. That's 57 through 7. Krista Ruggiero has the 10th highest Class E average at 94.2, the 3rd highest Class E high single at 136, and the 3rd highest Class E high series at 570. Ruggiero's first ball of the next frame. She gets a mix of eventually 6. 1379. Krista's on the head pin. Everything goes but the sleeper in the back, the 9-pin. If this were a 9-pin tournament that Boutwell's often has, that would be a spare. So do be on the lookout at Boutwell's Bowling Center for the next 9-pin tournament if you're interested. 9-pin is fun. The scores obviously get a little bit more inflated that way, but in a fun way. There's a 10 box for Krista Ruggiero all the while. That's 67 through 8. Krista Ruggiero has the 7th highest Class E total spares at 110. The 7th highest Class E perfect box percentage at 30%. The 5th highest Class E total tens at 126. And the 10th highest Class E fewest average pin left standing at 71.4. Krista's on the 3-6 pocket and takes down 5. She's got the 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, a left side Kaleri. Here's Krista on the head pin. Oh, runs everything down but the 7. That was a good bid. A very good bid. Krista shooting for the 10. It'll be a 9. 76 through 9. Krista Ruggiero is a PE teacher. Her longest streak of strings over 100 this season has been 8 in a row. Krista with a half Worcester plus more, much more. Instead of 2, it's 5. 1, 7, 10, 3, 4. Krista for the spare. Oh, just narrowly off the head pin. Very close to it. Candlepin is a game of precision. Precision hits and precision misses. It goes both ways. It looks easy, but I tell you, it is not. That's a 6 for Krista. She'll clock in with the first game with an 82. Krista Ruggiero, 1 mark, 1 headpin shot, 82 so far. Averaging 4.5 on the first ball. And that is the story for 1 game in for Krista Ruggiero so far. Bryan Hebert with the closeout of the first game here in the 4th quarter of game 1. Here's Bryan Hebert. He'll take out the 10-pin and only the 10-pin. There were some big names in 10-pin bowling when they were in Maine for at Bayside Bowl, the 10-pin house, but they went over to Big 20 in Scarborough, Maine to bowl some Candlepin, and there's some amusing footage of them trying to figure out Candlepin. And like I said, to finish my thought from earlier, Candlepin is it's a game that looks easy. You think it would be easy coming from 10-pin, but nope, it certainly isn't, and it's fun to watch some 10-pin bowlers kind of struggle with it when they kind of just come in to try it out. But that's an 8 box for Bryan Hebert in the 6th. That's 53 through 6. Hebert is on the pocket here. Everything but the 10-pin goes down. That was a good ball. A very relaxed and kind of like very leisurely kind of release. And I was telling Bryan during warm-ups, because he threw a strike in warm-ups, I said, you got to just relax. Ooh. He almost, well, he went into the gutter. He was in the vicinity of the 10 about halfway down the lane until it went into the gutter and came out. This will be for a 10, and he'll get a 9. 62 through 7, up over Krista Ruggiero's 57 through 7. This is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook. There's also a YouTube page for it, and we also have my page 3 Ball Spare on Facebook and YouTube. There's also Candlepin Bowling Network on Facebook and YouTube. Do check out all these fine pages. 4, 5, 7, 10 for Bryan on the first ball on the head pin. The accordion door on the left side. Bryan plays the wood and he cuts left, but not quite left in a favorable way. He leaves the 7 and the 8. This will be for the 10. And he'll take one of the 2 sticks. That's 71 through 8 with that 9 box for Bryan Hebert. Still ahead of Krista Ruggiero, 67 through 8. Let's talk about Bryan Hebert for a bit. He has a season average of 89.9, a home average of 90.20, away average 89.7, high single 117, high series 491. And he'll find the head pin here, and he'll split 7 eventually, 7, 9, 10. There's wood down there. I like the setup. Bryan Hebert's got 3 head pin shots in a row across 3 boxes. Hebert wants to split the difference. He does. He gets the 7, he gets the 10, but the 9 actually in the deflection was protected. So this will be for a 10. Drifts a little left. He'll take a 9 for 80 through 9. Bryan Hebert is 2 pins away from taking 1 point. Anything higher than that to take 2 points. 1 to tie, 2 to win in the first game. But it's a 5-game series. There's up to 14 points available per match. Bryan's on the head pin, and that will seal the deal for the first game for points for Bryan, and he'll take a 9 drop. 3 pin is down there for the taking. Piece of wood facing us slightly to the right. Just play the pin direct. Hebert. Yeah, he plays it direct, and he's got it. That was the idea. He's got a spare. That's 90 and a bonus in the 10th for Bryan Hebert. Why don't we take a look at this again? And I want you to watch where that ball goes. See, the wood was the danger zone. You don't want to hit that wood. And he didn't. He just nudged it, and that was beautiful. This is the bonus ball for Bryan. He'll drift off to the right, but he'll take 3, right? No, 4. Excuse me. I can't count today. That's a 94 for Bryan Hebert. That score is confirmed for Bryan Hebert, 94, and Krista Ruggiero, 82. And that's the story of the first game. Krista Ruggiero is warming up for game 2 now. So let's move right on ahead and get ready for game 2. Here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour in Class E North, Krista Ruggiero at Bryan Hebert. Hope you're all enjoying this match. Let's move on to game 2. Let's go with Krista Ruggiero first, and she'll start on lane 16. Here she is. 3 go down so far. Krista for the spare. She's a little bit to the right of the head pin, leaves the 1, the 4, and the 7. Three pins standing, 7 box guarantee for 3 more pins for a 10 box. Krista will take an additional pin for 8 through 1. Krista Ruggiero again with a season record of 75, 121. Averages 94.2. Averages 91.7 on the road. And here she is on the pocket. A little full, but got a splash. She took a 6 split, excuse me. A 6 triangle in the 4 pin. I would play the left of the 6 to hopefully get a sidewall to take that 4. The 4 pin's going to be the tricky part of this puzzle. Just like that. That was exactly the right idea. Just was a matter of just a couple extra degrees of angularity to take the 4. That messenger just kind of got stuffed. So we just got the 4 pin down there. We're shooting for a 9 or a 10. Krista will take a 9. Oops. That's a 9 for Krista. That's 17 through 2. Krista, it's guiding into the head pin, and it does. That was a great angled ball that curved inward. She takes 9 down. She's got the kingpin, another kingpin spare leave. She goes right to center, avoiding that wood should be reasonably on the table. Krista fires. Oh, beautiful shot. Plays it direct, just like Bryan Hebert did. Spare secured, 27 through 3. Let's have a look at this again. Look at this. Look at that. I thought it was almost even, I thought it even had a chance of missing, but it didn't. Beautiful. Krista's working on a mark, 27 and a bonus. Here we go. 3 on the bonus. $13 in the third for 30. Four in the center, 3 in the back left. Krista guides to the left at the head pin, drifts a little bit too much, leaves the 1 and the 3. For the 10, she's got the 10, 40 through 4. So Krista is doing pretty well right now, on track to average 100 if she keeps on this pace. She's got one more box to go before she sits, and we say hello to Bryan Hebert again. The stage is set. Let's go. Krista Ruggiero on the pocket. Oh, too much on the pocket. Takes 4 out. And that's what we call the spread eagle. That is one of the worst splits you can get. And it's on a ball that could normally be a strike. But if you punch too full, that's what this is, a spread eagle. Krista takes the right wing and leaves the left wing. What you have to do on your favorite wing of the spread eagle, you have to play the pocket and you have to kick 1 pin over or use a sidewall or do something to take the other 3. It's very difficult. I've seen plenty of bowlers more often than not take 5 of 6 pins, even on their best shots, and very, very infrequently do you see a spread eagle spare. That's a 7 for Krista Ruggiero, and that will put her at 47 through 5. She went 3 for 5 in the head pin, has 2 splits, is averaging 4.75 on the first ball. And that is the story so far. 129, a game and a half in for Krista Ruggiero. Bryan Hebert next. He'll take 6 out, 1-3, 6-10. 4 horsemen right side. Hebert on the follow-up ball, chops the 3. Seven, 8, 9, or 10 for Bryan. He takes the head pin, he leaves the 6 and the 10. A hard-fought 8 box for Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert, who threw a 94 in the first game over Krista Ruggiero's 82. Bryan Hebert has a guaranteed 2 points so far. We still have 12 points up in the air. It's 4 for total pinfall and 8 across 4 games. Hebert's on the head pin, breaks the spread eagle a little bit, takes a 6 drop. He's got the 3 on the right side and then the 2-4-7 on the left side. Hebert slings it. He slightly nudges the 2 down. He's got the 3-4-7. For the 10, takes 2 more for a 9, I believe. That should be 17 through 2. That is indeed 17 through 2 for Bryan Hebert, who is currently 42% of the head pin today. 2 splits, as is Krista Ruggiero in the split department. Bryan Hebert's averaging 5.75 on the first ball so far. He's on the 6-10 pocket. He's been hitting that a lot today. He'll take 2 out. And he'll overcorrect a little bit, cross over a little much, leave the 1-2-9 on ball 2. Here's ball 3. And that's a nice 10 box for Bryan, cleaning that up, 27-3. Bryan Hebert on lane 16. To the left of the head pin. Gets a reasonable mix of 7. 1-3-7 for Bryan. And Bryan will again go basically where the first ball went. Hit a piece of wood and take nothing else out. Still 3 standing. Ends up being a 7 box for Bryan. 34-4. Down by 6 to Krista Ruggiero's 40-4. 1 box to go before we say hello to Krista Ruggiero once again. Hebert, 1-2 pocket. Oh, big hit. Big mix. 6 and the 7. Wood in between. 3 planks. Yeah. And you got to play to the right of the 6 regardless. Or you can, I think whether that was intentional or not, Hebert went for the cap of the wood on the left side in the center, but it takes nothing. And it will be an 8 box for Bryan Hebert, 42-5. It's a difference of 5 in this game. Krista Ruggiero 47, Bryan Hebert 42. Game and a half in. Bryan Hebert's ahead in the total, 136 to Krista Ruggiero's 129. Keep an eye on that grand total pinfall. It's worth 4 points by the end of the match. Here we are, Krista Ruggiero. Lane 15 at Boutwell's Bowling Center. Krista goes to the right of the head pin. Takes 4 out. Krista's on the pocket for the second ball. It's the 5-6-8. For the out, she'll take 1 pin out. She'll leave the 6 and the 8 for an 8 box. 55-6 for Krista. Krista Ruggiero, on average, takes 6.2 points per away match. She's on the 6, 9, 10 pocket. 6, 10 pocket, 6, 9, 10 are taken out, 3 drop. Here's Krista going for the center. Yeah, there's a nice spare for Krista Ruggiero. Any way you can get it, you take it. And you gotta love this throw. Watch this. 1-3 pocket, a little full with the sidewall, and it trips the 2, which falls into the 1. 65-7 for Krista Ruggiero, working on a mark now. Goes right to left. I think that's a 3 fill. Yikes. Wow. That's an interesting mix. Looks like 68-7. Yes. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Krista. Just a little bit off the head pin to the left. Takes a sleeper out. 2x2 grid and then the 7 and the 10. 4 down, 6 up. And a 6-box it shall be. No, 5-box. No, 4-box. Oh my goodness, my math is not good today. 4-box for Krista for 72 through 8. See, there's a good reason I'm not the official scorekeeper. 154 grand total so far for Krista Ruggiero. Krista to the left of the head pin, takes 5 out. Not a Caleri, 4 horsemen right side, and the 9-pin sleeper. The difference between a Caleri and this is the 9-pin. If the 9-pin were the 8-pin, it would be a Caleri, but it is not in this case. Krista on the pocket, she takes that cluster of 5 out. Very nicely done for Krista Ruggiero. That's 82 and a bonus through 9. Really well executed play on the pocket. Watch this. Where does the ball release? It starts about at the 6 plank, drifts and spins into the 1-3 pocket. Mostly stays straight despite all the English on it. Krista's on the pocket there. Again, similar kind of ball. She takes 9 out on the fill. Leaves the 5-pin kingpin. She's at 91 through 9. Single pin high noon ball for Krista. Tails left. No mark. Retry for a 10-box. And there it is. What could have been, but it ends up being a 10-box for Krista Ruggiero. That's a 101 game 2 and a 2-game total of 183 for Krista. Improving her head pin percentage a little bit. 2 splits still, 4.7 first ball average, 4 cumulative spares, and 3 tens so far for Krista Ruggiero. As we enter quarter 4 of game 2, Bryan Hebert up next here at Boutwell's Bowling Center. Here's Bryan Hebert. Takes 6 down, 1-7-10-2. Bryan, outside of the head pin, the right way to hit it, but just nudged it a little bit too lightly. Leaves the 2-7-10. And Hebert will take a 7 for 49 through 6. We are at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire today, which, depending on what date it opened or relaunched, it's an interesting history. I guess the latest info I have is it opened in the 1930s at some point and moved at least once, maybe twice. I know there is one opening date, probably after a move, of September 18th, 1976. And there used to only be 12 lanes at Boutwell's, and then they expanded to 24 when they moved to the current location. 58 through 7 for Bryan Hebert now. If you know any of the Dellises, Andy Dellis, Alex Dellis, Dino Dellis, and Dimitri Dellis, they all hail from Boutwell's Bowling Center as they operate this facility very well. There's an 8 drop for Bryan Hebert, 5-8. For the spare, just a little bit off to the left. For the retry, ooh, that ball's a little bit off. That's an 8-box for Bryan Hebert, 66 through 8. Krista Ruggiero at 72 through 8 before she starts going on the mark run with the 9 fill and then the 10 box. Here's Bryan. The 6-10 pocket, but getting a mix. Center check mark, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 down, 4 standing. Bryan. 2 full on the head pin. Maybe a plank left or right, that would have been a spare easily. Ends up being a 9 for 75 through 9 for Bryan. Bryan Hebert has 13 strikes, 66 spares, and 99 tens for the season, a 30% perfect box percentage, 58-44 pinfall so far this season. There's Bryan with an 8 drop, 1 in the 8. Or what he's shooting at for the spare, 75 and a bonus. No, excuse me, 75 through 9. With the spare, it could be 85 and a bonus. And he'll take the sleeper and leave the head pin. That will be game 2 for Krista Ruggiero. 2 points per bowler so far. Bryan 84-85. It ends up being with a 9 box and 84. So it's 2 points apiece for both bowlers at the end of the second. 183 for Krista Ruggiero, 178 for Bryan Hebert through 2 games, and they both have won 1 game apiece. So we are still pretty even at the end of the second. So I'm hopeful that things will continue to be fiercely competitive here going into the 3rd game here on the ACST. As we get ready for game 3, Krista Ruggiero is ready to fire. Here she goes, Krista. 3 down in the back right corner. 6, 9, 10 pocket. Krista Ruggiero, who is 3rd in her division, 9th place in the wild card, as previously mentioned. For the spare shot, 4 in the 5, our left. She hit the pocket, hit the right place. Just not a lot of luck there. For the 10, she'll take a 9. That's 9 through 1 for Krista Ruggiero. Krista on the pocket. Oh, that looks good. 6, 7, 10. Split with wood. I say it looks good because I like the placement of the dead wood down there. You got to play the left of the rightmost wood on the cap. That way you can get a bounce off the sidewall. Krista sees that. Oh, just a little bit off target, just by inches, if that. Still the 6, 7, 10 for a 10 box. Krista will make it a 9. 2 9s in a row, 18 through 2. Krista Ruggiero in her past 5 away matches has taken 35 points in those past 5, averaging 7 per match in those past 5 matches. She recently faced Nick Charest in round 15, took 12 points, 570 series, 123, 136, 117, 111, and 83. 1 strike, 16 spares, 7 tens, 21 for 50 on the head pin, and 8 splits that match. 7 go down for Krista. It's the 179. Krista on the 179. She's on the 1. She's on the 9. She leaves the 7. Krista will get her 3rd 9 box in a row. And that's 27 through 3 for Krista Ruggiero. Krista Ruggiero, who bowls out of Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. In her past 5 home matches at Academy, she's taken 20 points and averaging 4 Yeah, 4 points per match. Four go down for Krista here. She's got the 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Ruggiero slightly to the left of the head pin, leaves 3. 1, 5, 9. It ends up being an 8 box with a piece of wood kicking into the 5. She leaves the 1 and the 9. That's 35 through 4 for Krista Ruggiero. You're watching the ACST, aka the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Krista on the pocket, little full, but she takes 7 down. It's the 3, 6, 7. Krista, goes into the channel. That'll be -1, -2, unfortunately. Went into the channel on the right side. It kicked a piece of wood back into the field of play, but any felt pins based off of that are not counted. So that's -2. So whatever this box is, we got to subtract 2 off it. And it will be a 7 box for Krista Ruggiero. That's 42 through 5, and that is the half. So it is exactly halftime for Krista Ruggiero with a halftime total of 225. 2.5 games in this 5-game series. Bryan Hebert comes back onto the approaches with 178 through 2 games. Here's Bryan. Takes 6 out. 1, 2, 4, 9. Hebert full on the head pin, takes the 1 and the 9, leaves the 2 and the 4. Eight, 9, or 10, it will be an 8 for Mr. Hebert. Bryan Hebert's currently 4th in his division in Class E North Division 3. He bowls here in Boutwell's Bowling Center. He's currently 10th in the wild card position. In his past 5 matches, he's taken 23 points, averaging 4.6 points per match, and he'll take 9 out and leave the kingpin as the spare leave shot. Hebert on the kingpin and collides with the wood slightly east of the kingpin. And he'll miss it again in the same place. That's a 9 for Bryan for 17 through 2. Here's Bryan on the pocket. Another pocket shot. The kingpin and the 8-pin now with no wood. And Hebert, again, that ball, he is magnetized to that particular spot in the 3-pin vicinity. Misses the mark again, just like in the past 2 balls on the... Actually, really, I think technically the past 5 balls have gone exactly in the same place. It's consistent, but not quite in the way you want it. That's an 8 box for Bryan for 25 through 3. Here's Bryan on the 3-6 pocket. 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. 4 drop. Drifts off to the right. And it ends up being a 9. 34 through 4. Bryan Hebert, on average, takes 3.9 points per away match. 5.6 points per home match here at Boutwell's. This is a home match for him today. Starts out with a spread eagle, but takes a 6 and the 10 out, so it's a 2, 3, 4, 7. Hebert on the wood. Oh, almost makes it pretty. He capped the wood, spun left. 10 pin was touched, but didn't go down. Ends up being a 10 box for Bryan, 44 through 5. We are exactly at halftime here at Boutwell's Bowling Center. It's a difference of 3 in the grand total pinfall. 225 for Krista Ruggiero, 222 for Bryan Hebert. Some mild lead changes going on there. Bryan Hebert's at 44 through 5. Krista Ruggiero 42 through 5. Krista's 28% the head pin. Bryan Hebert's 40% the head pin. 4 splits apiece. 6.1 first ball average for Bryan and 5 first ball average for Krista Ruggiero. Both bowlers presently doing a little bit better on lane 16 compared to lane 15. Let's start the second half with Krista Ruggiero, shall we? And Krista starts off with a 5 drop on the head pin. Spread eagle minus the 2. Krista plays the left 3, just on the 6-10. Leaves the 3-4-7. The 10 box, Krista wisely plays the 2 on the left, but only takes 1. That will be an 8 box for 50 through 6. Krista's in the pocket, 1-3, and she's going to get a raw deal. That's the 5-7-10. Ugly, difficult split to convert. It's just not fair sometimes when you hit the pocket and you get that. The problem is the 5 pin is just far back enough where it makes leverage difficult. You have to angle really precisely, almost have to miss the 5 pin to get a kick, and then you have to hope the ball goes the other direction. Krista misses the 5. Krista takes the 5, leaves the 7 and the 10 unharmed. That will be an 8 box for 57 through 8. Krista Ruggiero so far has totaled 21 bonus pins off of Mark fills, averaging 5.25 per fill. Krista's in the 1-2 pocket. 7 go down. It's a 3 triangle, 3-5-6. Ruggiero rolls it and takes it. Beautiful triangle spare. 68 and a bonus through 8 for Krista Ruggiero as we double click on that again for the replay. Look at this, 3-5-6. Wonderful ball. Almost too full, but the wood kind of saved it. Ruggiero on the 1-3 pocket. That was a good ball. I could tell by the moment she released it that it was going to be good, and it is good. That's a 9 fill. The 8 pin is standing. $77 through 8. Ruggiero fires. She might get a bounce off the wood. Not quite. Bit of a misfire on the aiming. But the wood could have saved it, but it just didn't wrap around correctly. There's a direct shot, and there's a direct hit. 10 box, 87 in the ninth for Krista Ruggiero. Closing in on 300. She's at 270 so far. She's thrown 5 head pin shots in a row. 3 of those 5 have been splits. Oop, we lost a pin on the pin spot, so we just got to reset. Happens from now and then. This is a good time to talk about Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire again. We have, of course, from last season, multiple ACST champions from Class C and E. Dimitri Dellis and Matt Powers were the victors in those classes back then. Dimitri Dellis has moved on to Class A. Matt Powers is taking a season off. But he still bowls here in leagues at Boutwell's. Great person to talk to. And there's a 3 drop for Krista Ruggiero. Krista will chop out a few more. She's got 5 up, 5 down, 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. And a nice rundown for Krista. That's a 10 box and a 97, game 3. She's at 280 through 3 games. 5 spares, 5 10s for Krista so far today. It's Bryan Hebert with a splash on the head pin, a little full. 2 left, 2 right, 4, 6, 7, 10. Hebert takes the left 2, the right 2, leaves the left 2. For the 10, he'll make it a 9, a nice out, 53 through 6. Hebert takes 4 out on the left side, and it's a right side 6-pack. Brought to you by the bar at Boutwell's Bowling Center and Sabrin Pizza as well. Also owned by the Dellises in the same parking lot as Boutwell's. You can order food from Sabrin Pizza from the front desk. There's also popcorn and drinks in the bar inside Boutwell's. So do check it out. The 6-pack brought to you by Boutwell's Bowling Center and Sabrin Pizza. 3, 5, 10 for Hebert for the 10 box. He'll take an 8 box. 61 through 7. And Hebert starts out with a half Worcester, then mixes down a few more. 5 up, 5 down. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Hebert will chop 2 off the right side and leave the 3 center pins. 1, 2, 4. 7 through a 10 box possibility here. He'll take a nice out of 9 for 70 through 8. Ooh, and that's an on 3 drop for Bryan Hebert. Take a few more out on the right side. He's got a 2x2 grid in the center. 1, 3, 5, 9. Rounds it out to a 6. 76 through 9 for Bryan Hebert. He's going to need a mark here to be able to come back in this game. Bryan Hebert currently 2 points. Krista Ruggiero possibly up for another 2 points to add to her guaranteed points today. Hebert starts out with more than a 6-pack drop, more than a 4 drop. He's got the 1, 6, 9, 10. Oops. He misses the object, leaves the 1 and the 9. Sorry about the camera misclick there. This will be for a 10, and he'll make it a 9. That'll be 2 more points for Krista Ruggiero. It's an 85 for Bryan Hebert. Krista Ruggiero wins it out with a 97 in the third game. It's a 3-game total of 263 for Bryan Hebert, 280 for Krista Ruggiero. The grand total pinfall is still quite close here at the end of game 3. Preparing for game 4 here on the ACST. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Good to have you along with us. Hope you're enjoying this match. It's been pretty great so far. Krista Ruggiero slowly pulling ahead, but you never know. There's still plenty of time for bowlers to figure it out and kind of turn things around. So plenty of lead changes abound. Let's see what happens next with Krista Ruggiero. Four drop for Krista, spread eagle center. Krista plays the 3 off the spread eagle. The 10 box, Krista will take a 5, leaving 3 on the left and 2 on the right. 5 through 1. Here's Krista Ruggiero's stats in text form in case you missed them earlier. She's currently in Class E North Division 3, bowls out of Academy Lanes. She graduated from Class F North Division 1 from last season, currently 3rd place in her division and 9th in the wild card. Here she is. She'll take some out on the back, I think. 3 drop, just a weird one. Center diamond 4-7-10. Krista fires upon it, takes a few more out, leaves 3 pins. 3-5-10. And Krista will make it a 7 box for 12 through 2. Krista's gone 2 matches in a row where she's totaled more than 500 in grand total pinfall this season. She has 1 match with a double-digit point take-home. 1 pinfall win. And if you're ever interested in the additional stats that I'm telling you about, do check out the link in the description. That Micah Imperato website for the ACST stats that Micah Imperato runs. I just pull from those. 7 drop for Krista here. 4-5-7. Krista takes the 4 and the 7 and leaves the 5. I liked the idea, but the 5 was tough to figure out in that puzzle. It'll be a 9 for Krista for 21 through 3. Krista will drop 9 here. She leaves the 10. That was a nice mix. It was almost a strike. Then just kind of swirled around the 10, but didn't touch them. Krista for the spare. Oh, just barely misses the wood. This will be a retry for a 10 box. And the wood gets deflected. Maybe it wouldn't have even gone in the first place. Sometimes the wood works like that. That's 30 through 4 for Krista Ruggiero. 3 for 4 on the head pin with 2 splits this game, and 41% overall on the head pin with 8 splits. Averaging 5.26 on the first ball. 30 on bonus pins off of fills, averaging 6 per fill. Krista will chop 2. On the 2 drop, oh, the ball goes where the first ball would have gone. So it's still 2 down, 8 up. And Krista will get a nice out of 9 at the very least off of that. Her 3rd non-box in a row, and that is the half for Krista Ruggiero, and that will be a 39 through 5 for Krista. 3.5 game total of 319. 5 spares, 5 tens, still yet to find a strike, but Bryan Hebert also hasn't found a strike. He has 1 spare, 4 tens by comparison. Here's Bryan to start game 4, and he'll mix down 7, 1, 3, 8. And he's got the spare on the 1, 3, 8. Well done. Let's watch this shot again. I didn't get it on camera, but Bryan was clearing a piece of deadwood that was probably had a chance of it wasn't going to get caught by the pin setter sweep, but it was in a very precise position. Imagine where the 10 pin was, but just further out, and Bryan threw a ball that was a laser right on that wood. So that was funny. We were all like, wow, that was a precision hit. Now can he do it on the fill? Oh, unfortunately, no. That will be, unfortunately, a goose egg of a fill. And he's going to have to respot because it was into the channel and came out. So that's 10 through 1 for Bryan. On the retry for ball 2. 4, 7, 10. For the 10 box, he'll take an 8. $18 through 2 for Bryan. And Bryan will take 6 down on the first ball of the 3rd box. 1, 2, 7, 8. And he'll spare that up. 28 and a bonus through 3 for Bryan Hebert. So his mission is to make sure that that spare fill ball does not go off target. That is Bryan Hebert's mission here for this next spare fill. Let's hope it's a good one. It is on the 1-3 pocket. 2, 4, 5, 7, 6 fill. For the spare, he'll go on the 7 and take only the 7. He's got the 2, 4, 5 to shoot at now. The result of the play is a 7 box for 41 through 4. And Bryan's now got a mirror image shot of the spare he just completed. He's got the 1, 3, 9, 10 with a 6 drop. His third 6 drop in a row. Can he do the mirror image? Yeah, he can. Look at that. 3 spares this half for Bryan. 51 and a bonus through 5. He's at a 4.5 game total of 314 plus a fill. Still within striking distance of that grand total pinfall with that pending fill. Krista Ruggiero at 319. And if we have a quick second, I'll show you this shot again for Bryan Hebert. 1, 3, 9, 10. Beautifully done. All right, is Krista Ruggiero down there preparing for the third quarter of the 4th game here on the ACST. If you want to check all the ACST action throughout the season, again, the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook is your place to go. And there's a link in the description also for detailed statistics and additional stuff if you're into real granular stats and all that kind of stuff. 5-10 lead for Krista Ruggiero, 8 drop, no wood. Krista, field goal between the 5 and the 10. Eight, 9, or 10 for Krista. Fires on it. She'll take an 8. 47 through 6. Krista hits the 1-3 pocket on the release. The 5, 7, 8, 10 is the shot for the spare with 2 pieces of wood in front of the 5 and the 8. Krista's gone 5 for 7 on the head pin with 4 splits. And come on, take the 7. Everything goes but the 7. A well-placed ball. On the 7 pin for a 10 box, Krista will miss it to the right. That's a 9 box for 56 through 7. Krista Ruggiero currently has 4 points in this match. Bryan Hebert has 2. Ruggiero will take 5 down. 4 horsemen left side and a sleeper. That's a 5 drop. And the pitch and the spare. Beautiful. It's like poetry. It rhymes. That's a spare for Krista Ruggiero, 66 through 8. Beautiful spare. Look at that. Right on the inside of the pocket, exactly where you want to send it. Krista Ruggiero is working on a mark fill, and she's on the pocket. She can get another one to break the split. She can. She's got the 3 and the 6 now to deal with. That's an 8 fill, and that's big. That's 74 through 8. Three, 6 pocket for the spare. Just a little bit to the right. Stays on, just doesn't connect. For the 10 box for Krista, she'll take 1 of 2. That's a 9. That puts her at 83 through 9. Krista will drift off to the right and take 3 out in the back right corner. The 6, 9, 10. In this match today, I feel like I've seen that a lot, both for both bowlers, just magnetizing to that right side pocket in particular. It's really interesting because both bowlers are righties, and often that can be sometimes a bit of a tough area to aim for. And it's just funny how you can reach it by accident so often, and then, you know, when it counts, it's so much harder. Funny how that works. Candlepin bowling is kind of a mental game. Not kind of, it is. And Krista will leave 2 for an 8 box. So she'll clock in with a 91. 4 game total at 371. Head pin percentage continues to improve. She's at 43%. 10 splits, 5.2 first ball average. That's the story for Krista Ruggiero. Bryan Hebert opens up with a pocket shot. He's got the 2, 4, 6. And that was on a spare fill. 7 fill, 58 half. Oh, and he'll just narrowly miss the target pin of the 2. And that was the right idea, because he wanted to kick it left and then bounce it right. Kind of like that. Oh, just like that. Oh, man, what could have been? That's a 10 box for Bryan Hebert. Well done. Just, man, you wish that was the second ball, don't you? 68 through 6. Just holding on the, yep. Krista was just keying it in down there, just making sure that doesn't sink in. Yes, it is. 68 through 6 for Krista. I mean, for Bryan. Krista is scoring, Bryan is bowling. Bryan on the pocket again, finds it, 2, 4, 5. 7 drop again. Bryan's first ball has been 7-0, 6-6, 7-7 today, or this game at least. First game, he was 8-6-1, 6-2-1, 9-6-7-9. Second game, he was 6-6-2-7, 8-6-5-8, 6-8. Third game, he was 6-9-8, 4-6-6, 4, 3-5-6. You got all that? There'll be a quiz later. That's a 9 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 77 and 7. Compare that to Krista Ruggiero's 56 through 7. Bryan misses the head pin, but he'll take a leave of 5, and they're all together. 1-5, 4, 7, 8, with wood all around. See if we can get a nice spare out of this. Oh, everything but the 4. You got to be kidding me. That was a well done ball, and that was very similarly themed to his first 3 spares of this game. He'll take it out for a 10, though, pinning it out very nicely. He's got 87 through 8. Bryan Hebert recently faced Chris Salmons again this season. It was either their 3rd or 4th matchup. That match was recorded, and I May have mentioned this quite a while ago, but I do intend to do an edited version of this match to commentate and record that. Just haven't found time yet to do it. That's a 2-drop for Bryan, I think. And he almost spares it up, leaves the head pin. That match between Bryan Hebert and Chris Sammons was unique because I actually was not there. Bryan Hebert brought a camcorder and recorded the match, and I got the files for it. There's a 10 for Bryan all the while in the 9th for 897 through 9. It obviously wasn't my setup, so I'm working on kind of rebuilding the streaming rig on my desktop at home, and then I'll be doing overlaying commentary and scoring. So just haven't found time to do that. I really want to get that match up and finished, though, to get another great matchup on, you know, in the ACST ether. I'll get it done at some point. Checkmark 6-drop for Bryan Hebert on the head pin. He's got the 2-4-5 on the second ball, collides with the 7. He almost threw a perfect half this game. He's got 10-9, 10-10, and this will be a 7. He's over 100. That's 104 for Bryan Hebert. He'll take the 4th game. Both bowlers deadlocked, 4 points apiece. 367 for Bryan Hebert, 371 for Krista Ruggiero. The total is a difference of 4 in Krista Ruggiero's favor. As we go into the 5th and final game, this will be big. The 5th and final game is worth up to 6 points. And I love when it's close because that means it is still competitive. It is still, you know, it can swing in either direction. We'll see what direction it swings in. Here on the ACST in Game 5. I'm Steve Kelly. How are you? We're at Boutwell's Bowling Center again. It's great to see you. And let's start with Game 5. Krista Ruggiero will lead off. Krista. 2 to go down on the 6-10 pocket. Krista on the 1-3 pocket, finds it, leaves the left side check mark, the 2-4-5-7. Guaranteed 6 box. Krista's playing for a 10 here to start the first, or to finish the first frame of the 5th game. It ends up being a 7. Here's Krista, who will drift right to left, corner to corner, take 3 out on the left side this time. 4-7-8 taken out. And Krista will shave off just a few more. And to finish things off, Krista will make it an 8 box. In the 1-3 for 15 through 2. Here's a detailed description, detailed graph of where the boxes, the spread of boxes are. Bryan Hebert has kind of skyrocketed in terms of the 9 boxes department. Everything else is relatively even, but Krista Ruggiero pulls ahead in terms of the spares in particular. Krista Ruggiero also had a 5 box and a 4 box, while Bryan Hebert has yet to throw one. It's a 5 drop for Krista. Oh, just narrowly off the 1-2 pocket. She leaves the 1-7-10 with a piece of wood behind the 1. A 1-7-10 shot here for Krista. She'll kick the wood on the 1 and kick it forward. That'll be an 8. 23 through 2. Here's a couple other graphs while we're waiting here. The box winner stat is if the match were head-to-head. Just kind of tracks, you know, just kind of for fun, who would win a box and any others not listed are ties. And also, of course, the head pins. Krista Ruggiero narrowly in the lead in that department. Here's Krista on the head pin again, 5-7-10, another raw deal. Somewhat across the 7, but dubious as to whether or not it will be helpful. Oh, Krista kicks the 5 into the 7. Well done. I wasn't expecting to get a bonus pin off of that. So Krista will make that a 9 in the 4th. 32 through 4. Krista takes 4. Yes, 4 out. That'll be a left side 6-pack. Krista versus the 6-pack for the spare. She drifts a little bit right to left, leaves the 2x2 grid in the center. The 1, the 2, the 5, and the 8. So Krista has no mark this half, leaving it open for Bryan to potentially take advantage. Krista came into this match with a +4 point pin advantage in the grand total pinfall. Krista will leave 1 pin for a 9. 7-8-8-9-9 equals 41 through 5 for Krista Ruggiero. 40% of the head pin overall today, 11 splits, 5 on the first ball average. And here's Bryan Hebert now. A beautiful ball in the 1-2 pocket, and it is a strike. Very well done. That kingpin finally goes down after spending nearly an entire match of it not going down. Look at this. Look at this. 1-2 pocket, messenger into the 5. Hebert looking for some bonus pin action, and he'll take 6 down so far. 1, 2, 7, 8. 6 on the first ball. Next ball completes the strike fill. That is actually our first strike of the day. And Hebert almost spares it just a hair off of the head pin and leaves the head pin. It will be a 9 fill on that strike. 19 through 1. And an out of 9 for 28 through 2. Very well done. Here's some additional stats here. I'll show you kind of 2 at a time here. The split spread, as you can see, Krista Ruggiero getting a whole bunch. 11 to Bryan Hebert's 5. And Hebert will take 6 on the check mark on the head pin, 3, 5, 6, 10. No wood. 3, 5, 6, 10 for Bryan Hebert. He'll take only the 10. 7, 8, 9, or 10. It ends up being a 7. 35 through 3 for Bryan. He's thrown a 94, an 84, an 85, a 104, and an in-progress 35. 3 boxes into the 5th and final game. Krista Ruggiero, 82, 101, 97, 91, and an in-progress 41. 5 boxes into the 5th and final game. Here's Bryan. Just a little bit east of the pocket, just by a plank or two. 6 go down, 4 horsemen left side is what the play is for the spare. Hebert, just on the wood, kicks the 2 forward. 1, 4, 7. It'll be a 7, 8, 9, or 10 box for Bryan Hebert. It's a 7 in the 4th for 42 through 4. One box to go before we go to the 3rd quarter and see Krista Ruggiero's final 5 boxes. Hebert fires in the meantime. His first ball is 8 on the pocket, 2-4 for the spare. And Hebert will drift into the ether on the left side. And it's a 10. Could have been a spare if that were the second ball. The old 3-ball spare, hint, hint. 52 through 5 for Bryan Hebert over Krista Ruggiero's 41 through 5. Halfway through the 5th and final game, it's still a narrow margin in terms of the grand total of pinfall in the 5th game. Hebert leads by 7 in the total. Hebert leads by 11 in the string. Krista Ruggiero's final 5 boxes start in just a couple of seconds here on the ACST here in Concord, New Hampshire at Boutwell's Bowling Center. Krista Ruggiero's in the pocket and puts down 9. Oops, sorry about that. Seven pin for a spare coming up. And Krista gets it for the spare. Well done. 51 through 6. She's on the board. Wonderfully executed by Krista Ruggiero. 51 and a bonus through 6. She'll take 3 on that spare fill. $54 through 6 for Krista. And Krista on the spare shot. Pins are still mixing. Oh my goodness. Leaves the 1 and the 2. I thought I had a chance to run them all down. But the ride ended at some point. She leaves the 1 and the 2. This will be for a 10 box for Krista. Spare 3 puts her at 54 through 6. No spare here. She's shooting for 8, 9, or 10 for something in the 60s in the 7th. Ends up being an 8. It'll be 62 through 7. Here's the first ball average spread. It's a little bit of a complicated mess at the beginning for Krista Ruggiero just because the average just didn't round out perfectly, but it's been pretty good so far. That's a 6 drop for Krista Ruggiero, 1, 2, 4, 9. Krista will shave off 1 and leaves the 2-4-10, or 2-4-9, excuse me. Won't be a mark. Krista takes an 8 in the 8th for 70 through 8. Krista on lane 15 on the pocket. Ooh, takes down 8. It's the 5 and the 7, but there's wood this time. So it has it, well, I say that, but the wood is now still relocating and largely out of place. It's going to fall off. Ah. It's just a raw 5-7 shot for a spare. Krista misses the 5 to the left. And on the retry, Krista does connect with the 5 and leaves the 7 for a 9. That will be 79 through 9. Brings her to 450 in the grand total pinfall with 1 box to go. Krista's gone 41% in the head pin. 12 splits, 5.2 first ball average. Krista finds the 1-3 pocket. 1 last head pin shot, 6 drop, 4, 5, 7, 8. That brings her to a day total of day average of 5.22 on the first ball, a 42% head pin completion percentage with 12 splits. She went 21 for 50 on the head pin. 7 spares, 5 tens. Caps the wood. Oh, and let's add another spare to that count. 89 and a bonus in the 10th for Krista Ruggiero with a bonus ball coming up. Runs down the accordion door, bulldozes right through it. That was a great one. 89 and a bonus, 460 and counting. Krista, oh, it'll be a 2-fill, unfortunately. But it's still bonus pins regardless. That's 91 in the 10th for a 5-game total of 462 for Krista Ruggiero. 82, 101, 97, 91, and another 91. That is Krista Ruggiero's day, 462. Bryan Hebert now with a total deficit of 43 to overcome. 5 boxes behind. That's a 5 drop. Caleri left side for Bryan Hebert. And Bryan Hebert will kick the wood and won't get anything else off the Caleri. The retry on the Caleri, he'll take 2 and leave 3 for a 7 box for 59 through 6. Comes Bryan, a guiding ball in the 1-3 pocket. He's mixing, he's mixing, he's mixing, he's mixing all the kingpin. 5 pin with wood. This wood, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Oh, yeah, that was what I was worried about. I was worried about just kind of like a drive-by on that pin without actually taking it. Hebert misses it twice for a 9, 68 through 7. Just that wood was the bummer right there. 68 through 7 for Bryan Hebert. Compare that to 62 through 7 for Krista Ruggiero. Hebert could use a mark here just to make it more comfy. He's been averaging every other first ball on the head pin. And there's another head pin hit. 7 drop, 2-4-5. Triangle, 2-4-5. No wood. Hebert to the right, misses the triangle. For the 10 box. Ends up being a 7. 75 through 8 for Bryan. Hope you enjoyed this match today. From Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire, I'd like to thank our ACST committee members, including our league commissioner, Danny Finn, Class E treasurer, Maurice Perry, our statistician, Micah Imperato, the staff at Boutwell's Bowling Center. I'd like to thank Steve Abdili, who contributed some video content to this broadcast. You can check out his work with the link in the description at stabodili.com. That's a 3 drop for Bryan. Let me think about it. So Hebert won't get a mark, and he's going to take an 8 for 83 through 9. He's at 450. The benchmark is 462 for 4 points. Hebert will shave a few off. 1, 3, 6, 10, 5, 8, 9. It's a 3 drop. Everything but the head pin goes for Bryan Hebert. Very close. That means it will be the grand total pinfall for Krista. Hebert pins it out for a 10. 93, so it is still points in the 5th game for Bryan Hebert with a 460. Oh my goodness, a difference of 2 in the grand total pinfall. Krista Ruggiero with a 462, and those 2 pins results in 4 points. Bryan Hebert, 460. Wow, what a match this was. 5.22 first ball average for Krista, 5.78 first ball average for Bryan Hebert. Yeah, a difference of 2 in the grand total pinfall between our 2 competitors today. Wow, what a close match. Krista Ruggiero will just narrowly eke out the victory today with 8 points to Bryan Hebert's 6. That moves Krista Ruggiero to 83 and 127. Bryan Hebert goes to 65 and 131. And wow, yeah, what a fierce match this was in terms of the numbers. Very close numbers overall. Like, look at the head pin per completion percentage. Krista Ruggiero just got way more splits than Bryan. That's a big divergence right there. First ball average was nearly the same. Fills a little bit different. Krista Ruggiero filled more, averaging 5.38 per fill versus Bryan Hebert's 5.2 average for a total of 26 off the fills. Bryan Hebert is the only one who got the strikes, any strikes today with 1, but Krista had more spares with 8. Yeah, overall just a great match today. Very close, very competitive, very just everything really. So we'll take a look at some of these numbers. I am noticing a bit of an error in the first ball average chart. I don't know how I didn't notice that till now, so maybe just disregard some of the numbers on that. I'll take that offline and take a look at that elsewhere. You know, this is a never-ending project to make sure some numbers are correct versus some aren't, so we'll figure that out. But here's some stats and graphs, you know. If you want to pause the video and look at this further, feel free to. Anyways, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this match today from Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Stay tuned at the conclusion of this match in literally just a couple seconds. Just give me a chance just to put together the highlight reel for you today of all the great shots and everything seen today. Anyways, I've been Steve Kelly for Krista Ruggiero and Bryan Hebert. We'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Have a great one, everybody. Here's Krista Ruggiero for the spare shot. It's on the pocket. It is a spare. What a nice mark. Facing us slightly to the right. Just play the pin direct. Hebert. Yeah, he plays it direct, and he's got it. Krista fires. Oh, beautiful shot. Plays it direct, just like Bryan. Here's Krista going for the center. Yeah, there's a nice spare for Krista Ruggiero. If the 9 pin were the 8 pin, it would be a Caleri, but it is not in this case. Krista on the pocket. She takes that cluster of 5 out. Ruggiero rolls it and takes it. Beautiful triangle spare. And he's got the spare on the 138. 1-2-7-8. And he'll spare that up. His third 6 drop in a row. Can he do the mirror image? Yeah, he can. Look at that. And the pitch. And the spare. Beautiful. Bryan Hebert now. A beautiful ball in the 1-2 pocket, and it is a strike. And Krista gets it for the 7 spares, 5 tens. Caps the wood. Oh, and let's add another spare to that count.